Hey, there we go. We're live on the Jaded Roundtable show. It is 10 o'clock on a Saturday night, so you know what that means. Generally speaking, Kim would be here, and I don't know where she is at the moment. So, want to thank again Renegade Smith for being on the show with me previous to this, and all that kind of good stuff. So, let's see. Okay. So I'm being bothered by one of these internet chicks, just like Daniel Lewis Crumpton got bothered and decided to turn it into the Great Omelet Incident. I don't have time for this right now. So let's see. Doing a live radio show. Okay. Anyway. So if you want to join in the conversation, look, I'm just going to throw it wide open because I have no idea what is happening here, people. I had no plans to do this, and I'm usually just the second voice, the captive orator on the Jaded show. So God knows what this is going to turn into. But if you want to join in, 718-717-8296. You can call in with your random thoughts and so on and so forth. Or if you're on the Charles.Ochelli Skype list, feel free to jump in. Let's see. You know, I do see Vince Easley was in the chat room, and Vince is always nice to me, man. I do appreciate you, brother. I really do. And I can't thank you enough for, like I said, having been kind to me since I first came on over to UCY. You know, actually the first guy to really start talking to me, and he's always been supportive of everything I've done, and even tried to help me out with guests and show ideas, and put me in touch with some cool people, including D.L. Crumpton, who has been on this show several times, but has also been on my show several times, and you know, is one of those guests that others seem to like to poach as well. So anyway, what is on your minds this week, people? I'll tell you something. What did I see but a lot of strangeness in the news? Is the flip-flopping and everything else going on over in the Middle East getting a little confusing? Is it awfully, awfully strange? I mean, the fall of Yemen, the alleged death of, you know, one of the guys from those packs of cards from one of the I don't know, Iraqi wars. I forget which one it was now, because how many times have we gone to war in Iraq? God, I'm losing count, man. You know, of course, we have the most recent incursion, which they say ended and then restarted and ended and restarted based on all sorts of different circumstances. But the guy who was, what, the king of clubs in that original deck? See, I don't know. Maybe some of you guys listening don't remember, but there was this camouflage, this desert camo a pack of cards. That was what the box looked like, and the back of the cards were made out to look like desert camo. And on each one of the cards was a figure ranging everywhere from, I believe the ace of spades was Saddam Hussein, but all these other people, you know, the infamous Chemical Ali and all these other people that were, you know, our enemies over there in Iraq, right? You know, when a little bit after the days of when we were calling him Saddam, to sit there and sort of try and emasculate him, et cetera, right? And we were going back in post 9/11 when everybody was so happy to go over there and fight anywhere where there was sand and oil and such, because after all, terrorists had hit us from that region, and they're all the same, even though we're talking about a bunch of Saudis who were allegedly backed by an Afghani, and we were already in Afghanistan. Of course, we've learned about the truth of that in recent shows. If you've been listening to me, you find out that whole weapons of mass destruction thing wasn't just a cover-up or anything, but it was actually people covering their own asses, as it were. So, am I going to have to sing for you guys tonight? Nobody's going to join me on the round table, seriously. Well, anyway, let's see now. I do have the chat room open, and of course it's dead because you guys really like to talk to Kim, but not too much to me or about me. Generally speaking, the chat room kind of goes dead when my show comes on. But I don't know whether to take that as a compliment anymore or not. Maybe I'll just close it out and ignore it, since I seem to be ignored by it myself. I don't know. But anyway, back to those who are more loyal listeners of mine that actually do, stick around and check things out on their fondle slab of choice using their applicable applications of desired effect for said programming. I want to thank you for listening to UCY, and thank you for having caught the Ochelli effect earlier if you're continuing on into this show. As I said, absolutely no plan, and this is what happens when I'm going to try and fill time with nothing to drink and without Kim showing up. Of course, we hijacked the airwaves on Wednesday night and did the little experimentation to see what would actually happen, if that is, Chuck decides to sit there and have a drink with Kim, which wasn't the most fun evening of my life, I got to tell you, after we got off air, because, although it was said many times, many ways, yeah, I know how to handle my alcohol, but, let's see, I got a positive response about my show in a private chat bubble, so I won't name who that is, but somebody sent me like a private Chatango thing telling me that that was really cool that we were talking music and stuff like that. I would love to have more guests on to talk music, I've tried several times to get Payday Monsanto to come on, and I was on a show with him once some time ago. I like Payday. I mean, I know he's hip-hop, and I'm, if you know a little bit about me, a lot of people get this misconception that I'm like a heavy metal guy only. Of course, that is my preferred type of music, but I do appreciate a lot of other types of stuff. Anything with a soul, anything with a personality, anything that seems to be living, breathing, moody music, and it does help if it has sort of a dark undertone to it. It seems as though I gravitate towards it. So that means that blues, R&B on the strong side, and excuse me, jazz to some extent, hip-hop to many extents, your old-fashioned rock and roll, your various types of industrial music, not, that prefabricated, hooky, campy, crappy, repetitive, nonsensical, seemingly mathematically deceptive, and strangely, MK Ultra almost style pop music or anything like that. I don't appreciate any of that crap. But anything with a soul I can definitely get on board with and enjoy. So that does include a lot of things. And yeah, I do prefer heavy metal, my favorite band, having been Black Sabbath throughout most of my life. Oh, okay, Jarox is the one who said that it was really cool that I did that show. I can barely read this private chat bubble thing, man. Remember, I'm the blind guy. But anyway, let's see. You know what else I'm going to do is I'm going to put out a general call on my Ochelli Effect Facebook page. That's another thing, by the way. I have a discussion group on Facebook. If you use the Facebook or the Federal Book or whatever it is you want to call it, actually I have an entity page for my radio show. There is a page for Jaded, which you can go and like, and I'm not sure what Kim does there because that's her gig. But I have the page on there where I try to encourage people to discuss things on the show, and unless people want to be combative with me, it seems as though I don't get a lot of discussion over there. But anyway, I am on the air right now until 12 a.m. Solo with no guest or topic. Let's see, SKYPN, Skype in, or call 718-717-8296 and join me. Anyway, back to it. If you think about it, yeah, that pop music and all of that kind of stuff, for the most part, to me, is psychic driving on a bizarre sort of level that even those guys at McGill University couldn't have imagined in order to pre-program and post-program many of the brain damaged, walking wounded out there. And it does seem as though it is background music for the torture that becomes the lifeless mass that I find myself swimming in on occasion. But anything with a mood, anything with a sort of gritty reality to it, I have an appreciation for it. Like I said, I did appreciate your classic blues stuff, and and definitely appreciated the sort of jazz blues fusion. I loved, classical music, but really more of a Bach guy than a Chopin guy. Definitely not so much a Beethoven guy, but in fact, I mean, there was even some really cool stuff that a friend of mine, when I was living in New York City, he was, he used to write ballets and different classical scores of certain types. Generally speaking, he was a Spanish guy, so he wrote in a very Spanish manner. There's sort of like a particular style to writing classical types of music with full movements and absolute, like orchestral pieces and things like that. So he was very much, from Spain, spoke like 5 different languages, and lived in various parts of the world. He was in New York City at the time when I met him, actually, composing music for ballets and stuff. And it was kind of weird to see the reactions of individuals that would see us together and know one or the other of us, because I was, heavy metal punk guy, and this guy was writing ballets, classical music, and things like that. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, the deal is that I do like to get into, some of the more alternative, forward-thinking stuff out there in the different genres of music. I mean, I had Raven Mad on, who was more of a rap guy. I mean, kind of weird to me to see rap guys coming from Canada, but Renegade Smith is a guy I actually wanted on quite a while ago. Because of the sort of attitude, you can hear that pumped sort of energy coming out of him. And at the same time, not like an ego-driven maniac like a lot of musicians are, because they, love the stage more than they love the page that they end up, getting out of life when it comes down to, down to exactly what part of the true history of music they land in. The thing is that a lot of guys like that who seek to be on a stage and seek to be a spectacle are often very, very nasty in their ego-driven ways. They're very like egomaniacal, as opposed to being, just confident individuals. Of course, I've recently gotten criticism about being like a bit of an egomaniac when it comes to being on the air. Like I'm trying to speak above people, or I'm trying to sound like, I'm above others and all this other stuff. And I've never, if you know me personally, you would know that that this is not part of my thinking, not part of my mentality on a daily basis. That's absolute nonsense. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I even bothered to mention, but of course, if you go to the ucy.tv/TOE page, there is that donate button there, and that does help out Kim as well. And also a piece of that goes to the network. I don't know if I mentioned that tonight, but there we go again. If you feel like doing that, I do appreciate it. Of course, if you go to ucy.tv/jaded, okay, Kim's archives, which are pretty damn hilarious depending on which week you go. And I'm not being very funny right now because I wasn't exactly set up for the comedy mindset this evening. But, here I am just babbling along and looking to see if I can grab up some people to come on and engage in some different thoughts. Like I said, watching the news this week, I mean, we had the interesting revelations from the guy who supposedly reaching for his taser, reached for his gun and pumped one into that guy in Arizona. yet another sickening situation. You have, the shoot down in South Carolina by the police officer. So, I mean, we can always get into police state discussions if you guys really want to. Not something that comes across real funny, and again, comes across during Kim's show normally, because it's usually just, wacky time over here. But hey, you want to get into something else? You want to get into something existential? I'm kind of in an odd mood and willing to go in any direction. So, if you want to call me up and start battling with, extemporaneous spoken word, we can do that. You want to talk news, we can talk news. If you, got your historical research questions that I might have some hint as to what the answer may be, we can do that too. I did notice recently, by the way, that although, I have more knowledge when it comes to something like the JFK case, etc., right, and a bit more knowledge when it comes to stuff like, Vietnam and even Watergate, the other assassinations, postmodern American history, more contemporary American history stuff. I have noticed that it seems as though whenever I do a show dedicated to 9/11, it gets a lot more attention than any of the JFK shows. Really, I'm strongly considering bringing back Rebecca Roth to go back over her story some more. And a couple of other 9/11 oriented people have contacted me recently as well, and I've been thinking about maybe I need to do more 9/11 shows, but everybody's done 9/11 shows. I'm kind of, I don't know. It's not my special area. It's not something that I think I could add a whole lot to that is unique, and so on and so forth. But let's see. Okay, so I see. Little bit of activity on Facebook. Facebook is a double-edged sword too, because it's one of those things that winds up creating a lot of aggravation and can wind up consuming a lot of your time, and your energies and things. But and it is a great networking tool, but you can get yourself involved in a lot of silliness, and that's even before you open up one of these stupid applications and decide to play, puppy rescue with candy canes up their butts or whatever. It's just one of those things that, like I said, again, just like the internet itself, it's a great way to share ideas, but it's also a wonderful way for them to spread the virus of pop culture and nonsense and, literal junk food for the intellect that really, at the end of the day, amounts to very little, if anything. So I would say that you got to consider very carefully what the significance of your efforts is versus the benefits. I've found new people to network with. I've learned things from people by using Facebook. I've connected with individuals that would have been very hard for me to speak with otherwise if I didn't utilize Facebook. Let's see. Okay, nice thing on my radio talk page. Like I said, the Ochelli Effect radio show group page is there for open forum discussion, and the Ochelli Effect entity page is there for a news feed and stuff about the show as well. The funny thing is, though, is that a lot of people just friend my personal page, so that's kind of overrun with a lot of people that probably I don't know so well because I accept everybody's friend requests. I'm crazy like that. I often accept everybody's friend requests and don't really give a thought to what it is until they begin to annoy me somehow or other. Then I've either got to shut off notifications or cut them off at the knee to get rid of them. Same thing with Skype, too, as I accept all Skype contacts, which is Charles.Ochelli, and then for some reason or other, my last name is repeated again in the contact. So it's Charles.Ochelli space Ochelli apparently now, which is a new thing. I think it's because I tried to change my profile a little bit, and it was messing with me. So there we are. But I do accept all requests for contact and friend requests and things like that, and and sometimes it is a lot of aggravation and people that want to just yell at me that I'm an idiot because I don't believe that the Cookie Monster and Colonel Mustard were actually the ones that got Kennedy with the revolver, from the doorway of the Dallas Records building or whatever. And I don't want to embrace the 92 shot theory or however many bullets Fetzer's up to nowadays, stuff like that. People want to yell at me for that, or they want to just say that I'm one of these crazy fringe people that has no business having a radio show. And of course, I must be a loser speaking to 5 other losers who are living in their parents' basements and things like that. So, but then again, I gotta say, sometimes the hate mail gets very entertaining. I wonder if I should just crack some of that stuff open. So let's see. Let me just do a little interaction here that I like to do while it's fresh when people are actually speaking on my pages and things. Thanks, guys. I am on the air now, all by myself. So, with nothing. Okay, and then I'll say even Kim did not show up. Yep, there we go. And I hope she's all right. Oh, you know what? I was explaining the aftermath from the Wednesday night experiment with the alcohol, which, like I said, some people did observe that, well, Chuck can certainly handle his, because one way or another I can maintain being coherent, despite being wobbly, woozy, and possibly red-eyed. But anyway, let's see. I thought it was the chauffeur. Oh, are we getting back into, I thought it was the limo driver who killed Kennedy in the chat room? Is that what you guys are doing? If you're doing that, what can I say? I mean, if you bang your head on that brick wall outside of your house a few more times, the Easter Bunny will appear to you in purple. So, continue. Anyway, returning to it, yeah, the aftermath of Wednesday night's show where we, like I said, we sort of hijacked the airwaves and just kind of came on when there normally would have been a replay of, I think, Truth or Talk, which, you guys would have already heard. We decided to go on and just do an original piece there. And I think my intro was played. I know that the bumper at the end of the show was mine, but it was meant to be a show for Kim. Kim really wanted to do that. So, of course, she was plenty plastered. And anybody who heard that show, which thank God it's not archived, but anybody who heard that show, you might have vaguely heard while I was trying to sort of wind things down and wrap it all into a nice little bow at the end of the show, you might have heard a crashing sound off in the distance while I was speaking. And of course, that was Kim not even making it out of the room before hitting the floor. So you can imagine what the rest of my night was like. Not through any sort of domestic violence situation, but some things were broken in the house and some rather guttural noises, and I don't mean from the gutter, I mean from the gut noises, were being made in bathrooms, while people sort of tried to catch their breath, and it wasn't me. Anyway, I'm sure she's going to love that when she hears it. So now it looks like I have a Jaded show all by myself. Now you're wondering to yourself, well, gee, that was Wednesday night. What happened? Well, the next day, interestingly enough, although she had been kind of scratched up and probably worn down a bit, and explained to me that, see, I never get hangovers, but I'm always fascinated by other people who do. I mean, I can drink to the point of being literally completely quadriplegic and not get the hangover. I don't know what it is outside of people tell me their head pounds. I don't get that. I get migraine headaches from, nothing. Just from, trying to read or go in the sun for more than 5 seconds. But generally speaking, if I drink, I don't get that. I might be, a slight bit sluggish the next day or something and have a dry mouth. Other than that, alcohol doesn't have a long-lasting effect. Once the buzz is gone, the thrill is gone, it's all gone for me. But so I asked her about her hangover, and she informed me that since she had cleared out her stomach, that a hangover was definitely not the condition she was in. But later on that wondrous evening, in fact, late at night, long after Frankie had gone to bed and everything else, somebody, through some sort of situation, fell and just about broke their ankle. And meanwhile, remember, I'm not the one complaining about pain, right? So this huge swelling and everything else, she put up with the pain until about 2:30 in the morning, and then actually had to go to the emergency room where they splinted it up, x-rayed it, and figured out that it was severely sprained, although I contend, and the follow-up doctor that saw her yesterday also contended, that there could very well be a crack in the bone somewhere. I could not physically feel it out myself because the swelling was too excessive on the side of that ankle. So next week when she shows back up, provided she hasn't run away from home or something, because I don't know where she is right now, provided she hasn't run away from home, and I'm not going to be doing this show again alone next week, you might want to ask her how her ankle's feeling. Got pretty mad at me because I was trying to instruct her on how to use a pair of crutches, because she's told me she had never had to use them before. But anyway, crutches, and I'm wrapping and splinting things because I do know how to do that. And realistically, the trip to the emergency room was to just try and make sure that there wasn't a severe fracture, because obviously if I had been able to feel that out, or known that there was a severe fracture, that would have changed the way that I splinted and or bandaged or created a support for the injury. But so I know she was severely injured, and then of course was given medication for inflammatories and whatever the hell else, and it could very well be that she's just simply passed out on the couch out there and doesn't realize her show has started. And I have no real way to signal her, because any sort of loud noise and disturbance would set off the youngest Ochelli, being Frankie. Interesting kid he is, though, by the way. Everywhere he goes, people do love to talk to him. And Mama's now getting mad because when Daddy takes him for a walk in the stroller, women just love to come and gush over little boy Ochelli. And, of course, that means they wind up having to talk to me some. So that doesn't make her very, very happy. But, such is life, and, it is what it is. Anyway, if you guys want to join me and have me talk about something that is maybe not so disinterested, mundane, or ridiculously narrow as how my week is going and what my baby boy does and all that kind of good stuff, if you want to join in, the number here, once again, is 718-717-8296. And if you're on my Skype list, you can call in and, hey, help me out a little bit so I don't have to sit here and continue to babble for the next hour and a half, because I've only killed 30 minutes of her show so far. And, 2 days away from now, it'll be 420. And do I need to say anything else? Probably not. So, I'll take a look again in the chat room. Wow, rehashing Alex Jones' talking point. What a superb network. I'm rehashing Alex Jones' talking point? Okay, perhaps you're not listening to my show. But that's okay. I don't know what you are listening to. But hey, if you want to elaborate on that, I'll wait, because there is a slight delay between when I'll see it and when you'll hear it and all that kind of good stuff. So let's see how you're going to try and compare me to Panic Attack Jones. Go right ahead. Let's see about that. It's just like those who say, banking people and posting IPs who call out. Banking people. Okay, I don't know what that's about. I have no idea. I don't ban anybody. I control nothing. Not my own house, not the female or anything else. Oops. Well, it looks like I do have somebody who wanted to try and come on in while I'm babbling about nothing and help me out. Dylan, how are you tonight?
Good. I usually help when you're babbling. What's up?
Oh, not much, except here comes another caller. Who do I have on the line?
Chuck.
Oh, hey, Vince.
What's up, bud?
Oh, man, not much, except I don't know where the hell Kim is.
Yeah, I heard you say. Jules popped in, wanted to know if Kim was okay.
Yeah, well, she had hurt her ankle. That's what I was explaining about, I guess, is that she had hurt her ankle. And, of course, I got sidetracked because I'm sitting here juggling things and trying to type messages to people and see if anybody wants to join. And, of course, the chat room is always dead when I'm in charge of a show. So it's
They were
amazing.
waiting for Kim.
Yeah, it's amazing, dude. Here's what happens, too, is that I can have, like if you saw the Rebecca Roth interview, right? That on the UCY channel has like what 1,200 views or 1,300 views, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's amazing.
So it's going pretty good, and I know that the MP3 got swapped around. A lot of people tell me about it. They didn't even know it was a YouTube video. Some of my other videos I know get swapped around to people and different channels and things, and I post all the JFK related stuff on my JFK channel. So the fact that Joan Mellon is up there with like 700, 800, 900 views, and there's other JFK videos that have 2, 3, 4, 500 views on them, stuff like that. You would think that that's representative of a huge live audience I have, but when it comes
Right.
to the chat room, it's like, first of all, Kim doubles my numbers in the chat room, and then secondly, and she does, and she's not even like, and she says it every week, like, I don't even really take this seriously. This is just, let's have a good time.
Maybe you should
Yeah.
adopt her format.
Well, see, but then I wouldn't be me. I can make
Is
jokes.
that Dylan?
Yeah, that's Dylan. Dylan,
Yeah.
wait.
Hey, Dylan, how are you?
Hey Vince, I'm good. How about you?
Yeah, you've met
Pretty good.
Vince.
I've been multitasking. I was actually listening to you, Chuck, and to James, and so I've got everybody muted now, and posting for tomorrow's shows and getting those. So those are all set. I usually take in Saturday nights, anyways. I get lazy during the week, but Saturdays I usually make sure to go over and post a description over on YouTube of your show, and add that into the comments there. So
Yeah, I appreciate.
Go back and edit your post.
And let me say something. I really appreciate that because a lot of my stuff gets missed on YouTube. This is why I started taking the JFK stuff and putting it on my channel. Because if you notice, I don't just put the same title. I always take it and I add to the title a bit, and it draws more interest because it comes up in more searches. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm not too sure what, some hashtags in there and stuff. And to tag actually go in there, on YouTube, there's a place if you have access to UCY, you can go in and add tags.
Yeah, see, I don't have...
Which brings it up into more searches.
I'll tell you the truth. If I had access to the UCY channel, I would go through and tag every one of my shows. Even, I know I'm up to, on the YouTube channel, I know I'm over 100 shows. On the RSS feed, on the MP3s, I know I'm around 200 shows. But
Wow.
I'd be willing to go in there if I had access and tag every last one of mine. Hell, I'd even tag some other people's shows that I listen to, to help them out. And also put in the description or in the title, not the description. In the title, I would put stuff in the title for them too. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I know that would help to promote us. And I'm all about promoting the network.
Absolutely. That's my deal. Let's see, it's been back in August last year, I did my last show, and then I filled in for Drew on Off Grid Journey for about a month or two, and for Jay Cynthia on Cancer Kickers. And a lot of times I miss radio, but I don't have the it takes all week for me to prepare one show, and then I just got to a point where I felt like I was being redundant, and so I just felt like I needed time off and concentrate on my other efforts here, and filling in for Jules on the weekend on a post where she didn't have to get tied down and stuff. But would like to be doing some more. I'd like to be able to help out maybe with the YouTube.
Yeah, I would love to be able to. I'd love to be able to do that too. And big shout out to Jules because because she is I'm extremely grateful to her for this platform. I'm extremely grateful to her for all the work that she's had to put in, and all of herself she's had to put in here. And
can you imagine the thousands of hours that she has put in here?
Well, yeah.
Thousands.
And look at what she's created. And I'll be honest with you, Vince, and here's something I haven't mentioned on the air, but the truth is I've been offered to go to other networks, all the time. And some of them, would be probably better for me to be on because they carry a larger audience and stuff like that. But my whole thing is I don't want to do that because, one, I have a loyalty to here,
Absolutely.
and to Jules personally in my mind. The only way that they're going to get me to go somewhere else is if they're going to straight up give me a paycheck. And even then, even if they do straight up give me a paycheck, the bottom line right now is that I would still insist that I maintain the UCY show. Like, in other words, if, anybody, name a network, doesn't matter, said, look, we'll take your show and carry it just like, it is, I would say, well, I'll tell you what, you're going to be simulcasting the UCY show is what you're doing. And I would stay
Absolutely.
here.
I got offered a show over in the UK, but they wouldn't simulcast from UCY, so I had to do away with that one because I was thinking, man, I started with 1 hour and went to 2, and I was like, what am I doing,
Well,
and
then, what's funny
I
about
just
that?
do it like you do. There's no way.
Right, and what's...
I said it before. You put in more work than any other broadcaster I know. There's very few that do the work that you do.
Well, I appreciate that, man, and I'm glad that you recognize that because a lot of people figure I don't do much. It's just I just bring somebody on and I just talk to them. It's not that simple, First of all, I mean, I do a lot of work to make sure that I'm informed when I'm talking to people. Sometimes I bring them on cold, but it's only because I know their subject area well enough that that I just think they're interesting in general, and. So, but it's always a variety of stuff, and I never script this stuff, you know what I mean? So there is a certain, spontaneity to it, but when you got to try and contact people, that takes time. Sometimes that takes money. When you've got to read their books, that takes time. When you've got to verify things and go back and forth or read through their web pages or get in touch with somebody else because they can't be reached a certain way or whatever else. I mean, I do all that stuff. Plus, I pay for Skype credits so that I can actually call people as opposed to having them have to call in through the listener line. You know what I mean? All kinds of stuff like that goes on. And I mean, I'm not even running like a full production thing or anything, but it's actually a lot to do that 3 times a week. And truthfully, if it was a little later in the day, I could do it 5 times a week, probably with about the same amount of effort. It's just that it's kind of at an awkward sort of time of day for me. But
Right.
But then again, I don't know. The funny part is that a lot of the people that listen to what I'm doing, they don't like me. It's weird. They don't like me, but
it is weird. But we get a lot of people that just like to come in and hang out and create problems. It seems sometimes. So, we've been working on that for a while. So I don't know how to address that any more than just try to alleviate the tension. But personally, my brother said it. That since my involvement here at UCY, it's made me a better person as far as he's concerned, and I think so, very much so for me. It's given me some focus and center. I mean, no telling what I'd be doing if I wasn't, spending my time here. So, I'm really, really proud to be a part. And, sometimes I get a little crass, in some of my comments, but hopefully that doesn't reflect badly. I do it all in good fun and jest. But
well, I've never seen you be crass or anything like that. The only thing you ever did, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you about something. The only thing you ever did that drove me crazy, you want to know what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Only one?
No,
I'm doing good.
Listen, you're doing real good, but this one thing used to make me nuts. Is I would go to either host your call on your show because you were out of touch, with Wi-Fi or whatever. Excuse me. And I would either host your call or you'd want me on the show to help you out with something or whatever. And I never had a problem with that. I was always if I could possibly do it, I did it. Even if that meant that I was doing my show and then doing another 2 hours, just like I do with Kim, right? No big deal. That's all great, and some of that stuff was really cool. Like I really enjoyed that night that we did the show with what's that?
Jennifer Jones in Courtside.
No, not that one. The older gentleman, and we wound up talking about Jesse James.
Ralph Epperson.
Ralph Epperson, correct. That night,
was fun.
I thought that was a great show. I enjoyed the hell out of it, right? And I'm digging it. But here's the thing that you would do that would drive me absolutely insane. I'd be sitting back thinking all I got to do is host the call and, and help you take your phone callers and stuff like that, right? And you would just have a problem or something or decide to step out and you'd be like, well, I'm going to turn the mic over to Chuck. Here you go. And I'd be like, oh, man, because I'm in the middle of like eating dinner. You did this to me when I would just be like, okay, I'm just going to host the call and all I got to do is click the mouse and get his phone callers on, right? And I'm sitting there like trying to shovel my dinner in because I'm starving. And you're like, well, Chuck has the mic. And you'd be gone for like a half hour.
I think that happened in Courtside and out at the Bundy Ranch.
Yeah,
but,
both.
Oh, man, I ran so many directions, and I've got a lot of videos of people I've recorded out there, too, on my YouTube channel, Vincent Easley. You can find it that way, or What Matters V Easley. But I really appreciate all you've done. I mean, you're awesome, and I don't think that's the only reason that I enjoy helping the little bit that I do with you so much. But Captain Gringo, he's in chat. Tell us, Chuck. He's wanting to know what it was, and I was a bit afraid to.
Yeah,
so
you were expecting something a lot worse, weren't you, Vince?
Yeah.
Look, on balance, that's not the worst thing. But I mean, the one time though, I think your system crashed on you too. That was another thing. I didn't know what happened. You were just like, I think you said like, I got to step outside for a smoke, and I was like, okay. So I'm thinking 10 minutes, something like that. And I wound up doing the whole rest of your show, and Jose was supposed to come. I think that was his name, Jose, right?
Yeah.
Jose was supposed to come in the
Jose.
second half.
You got to say it right, or he'll listen to this and he'll
Jose.
come back and get us for not saying Jose.
Jose.
Like horse and stay together.
Right.
Horse.
Jose. So Jose was supposed to come on, man, but he didn't. And
that was racist in so many ways.
no, that's the way he wants it said.
I'm screwing with you.
Yeah. You want to play that game, Dylan? We can do that. Okay. Dylan's like, yeah, I'll drop you back into being by yourself, sucker. Anyway.
I haven't left yet.
No, not yet. Amazing. But the thing is, he was supposed to come on. He didn't show up. So here's what happens. About 15 minutes deep into your show, which was 2 hours, and I was already like not feeling well or something, and I'd barely gotten through my own show. You said, I got to go have a cigarette. So then you said there's a problem with your computer. You text me that. And you're going to have to shut it down and restart it, but hold the call, right? So you never came back. Jose never showed up. And now, this sounds like I'm complaining, right? But you know what came of that?
Oh, I remember that one. That was, yeah. I was in Vegas, and I thought I'd be smart and move the Wi-Fi box closer to me. And when I moved it, it lost all the signal, and I never could get it to come back on.
Right, you couldn't get it back.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then Jose, he was showing up on Skype and disappearing and showing up and disappearing. He never made it. But you know what came of that was funny? Is
what?
Roger Landry.
Yeah, I hooked you and Roger up, matter of fact.
Yeah, exactly right. So what happened is now I wound up with Roger Landry, and him and I started talking off the air. And next thing I know is, as you know, every Tuesday night he's my guest. And, and I'm involved with the Liberty Beacon now, doing a bunch of different things. Some stuff I can't even talk about yet because it's not out there yet. But, the radio network, which is still under development, when that thing is running, I'm running a network for them. So.
Will I be hosting on that?
What was that?
Will I be able to host on that one?
Well, Dylan, we shall see.
I lost my show on the last one.
Yeah,
Dylan's a pretty
I,
busy fella too. Yeah, I think he can probably speak to about any subject, and he's a young man. I've myself have often put the challenge out to people to ask me anything, because I feel like I can talk to any subject. And so usually what I'll get is like some ridiculous math problem or some obscure language, and it's like, it's not exactly what I meant, but
yeah. You got to say, ask me anything in English. Okay, that's the first problem.
I can't stick to any subject. I can't do it. My mind is too quick.
Well,
Uh,
see, now that could be a good setup for a lot of jokes, but
yeah, I know.
we'll leave it. You know what? I've actually got a guy coming up who does a show on Freedomizer Radio, and he's just a year older than you. Um,
Chris, right?
yeah, Chris, right. So I'm going to bring him on. I think on April 30th. Oh,
I'll have to join in on that maybe.
yeah, sure. And next Saturday, I'm doing the JFK Myths Part 3. And
I know, Carmine told me.
And you know what's funny about all that, by the way, and here's, why I brought up Rebecca Roth to you, Vince, is because that started a whole thing. I don't even know if I talked about it on the air yet, about what's been going on with my emails and everything.
I've seen some comments you made about some of the hate email you still got, but that, I think, keeps you going.
Oh yeah, no, I love the hate. The hate mail is hysterically funny. As a matter of fact, I got to reread this one thing that I was looking at right before I came to air. I think I might have actually gotten my first death threat as a radio host. But
You got a death threat?
yeah,
Congrats.
I think I actually got a death threat. Love it. It's hysterical. But here's the thing, and you know what?
Can we do a live reading?
I might do it. In the words of a man who I admire and respect, who used to do a show on this network, and you'll know who I'm talking about when I say it, Vince. If you're coming to take my neck, pack a lunch. Do you know who I'm referencing, Vince?
Oh, now you put me on the spot. Now after I just said that, and I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, come on. Listen again. If you're coming to kill me, you better pack a lunch.
That's not E, Big E?
No, that's my horrible impression of JJ.
Oh, God.
He always says that, pack a lunch. Because you're going to be here a while, you're going to try and take me. But, no, the funny thing that happened was, okay, so you remember I did the Rebecca Roth interview, which, I didn't think much of it, as far as, like, being a big deal. But apparently a lot of people thought it was, like, really big. I said, okay. I didn't realize she had been on Coast to Coast AM just before my show, right? But anyway, so that was interesting. But then Rudy Dent called in toward the end of the show, who was a firefighter in NYC, right, and had seen the collapse of Building 7. So he just called in, and he knew Rebecca, and he was like, this is really cool, and I've been listening to the show and all that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I called him back afterwards, and I set him up to come on my show. And the reason why he was willing to come on with me for 2 hours is because he had been on InfoWars, okay, but they had him on there for 5 minutes.
Wait for it in chat. InfoWars. Wait for it. Here's my JJ. Oh, yeah. Up against the wall.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I am so confused.
It's all right, man. Don't worry about it. You'll catch up. Okay, so
Yeah, I doubt it.
So he had been on the Panic Attack Jones network, but had some girl interviewing him in Times Square, and there was some other video of him out there where he didn't get to say much, and he had been on a show with Luke Radowski, somewhere, and he said that's all he had done interview-wise, right? But he said in all cases that he felt like I got to watch what I say and all this stuff, and I told him, No, not on my show. You don't. I ask my guests not to engage in foul language, to treat it like it's a radio-friendly, thing for FM or whatever. Treat it that way because I feel as though we reach more people, and I believe it's more professional, and that's what I aim for. But other than that, I don't tell people don't talk about this, don't talk about that. I don't do that. I don't restrict it. If I bring you on to tell your story, that's what I want. You know what I mean? He said, so you don't mind if I say this? I said, Rudy, you tell your story. That's all I'm going to do is interject questions and comments to make your story come out. That's it, brother. I don't want to interfere with it. I'm not going to edit you. If you want to say stuff that sounds completely off the wall, brother, that's on you. I said, as a matter of fact, if you want to come on my show and say, I'm angry at those 19 guys with box cutters because they hated America so much, I'll let you do it.
You bet. And
Okay.
we forgot to get Renegade Smith to talk about dancing Israelis. I was busy punching up stuff over here, or I would have sent you a reminder. I haven't even opened up Skype, and I don't even know how long.
Yeah, well, beware of that because you might have an update there that'll jam you up bad. So
I've got 2 accounts over. I duplicate myself everywhere, and I don't know. I've got if I open this extra tab right over here.
yeah, what do you got?
and
Like
that
6?
little arrow.
You got
I
like
can scroll down for I don't know, 50. There's got to be at least 50. I haven't even counted all these sites from activist posts, Vimeo, Speaker, Bandcamp, Ustream, Blog Talk, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Smashwords, Pastebin,
and you got
on,
and you got like 6 Facebook pages too, because there's there's like Vince Easley the second, Vinny
Vincent Ray
Easley.
Easley the second, and then the public figure page, Vincent Ray Easley. I don't. My main one is Vincent Easley the second, and Vince Easley. I've got my Twitter tied into that, so I can tweet, and it'll hit that page. There's stuff I've got tied into my phone, so I get notifications. I got Vincent Easley the second, I think it is, on Twitter, and that'll hit my message on my phone. I was trying to tie to Tango messages into my phone, but I don't think I got that done.
Listen,
There's just
if you want to make
everything I got is all basically links back here to UCY. It's just it's not me trying to have any fame for myself or anything. I'm perfectly satisfied doing just contributing, because
right.
I started out, Matters of Broadcasting, one of my first pages. I've got several Facebook pages. I started out, and I'm trying to get people involved, and then through JJ, I discovered UCY, and I came over here, and it just it's this is all these people grouped here together, and we're all basically working towards the same goal. So I'm thinking, well, this is where I need to pitch in right here, and add to, instead of trying to build something. All this redundancy I have is almost ridiculous. I have all these pages, but now I just use them for more or less just categorizing different subjects. I've got Buzz Beaver for cannabis, and I've got my pseudonym Propaganda Panda. That's my main Twitter is Propaganda Panda. So all variances on that, Propaganda Panda.
Yeah, I love that. That's one of your icons on Facebook too. Is that panda? I love that.
Yeah, flipping the bird.
Yep.
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, and every time I do a show, I try. If I've even got 10 seconds, I always put the show's post into your Media Networking Matters Facebook group. Always do that.
Yeah, I kind of slack some about getting over there and keeping up with. We've got some people from the Liberty Beacon. See, there's something clicking in on my phone. Liberty Beacon posting over there, Suzanne Posel, and you, and James and Pending, and Dennis Ford, some of the other fellows at the Coalition post over there. I didn't see, it kind of got out of what I intended that for. I was basically wanting to build that for just a networking, instead of posting shows, just for people to get together there and be able to get together for other broadcasts, to find hosts and stuff like that. But it kind of got away from me, and I just let it go with what it is. So like I said, it's just another redundancy. My two main pages, my theme, What Matters, of course, was the name of my show, What Matters Worldwide. So I have a page called What Matters, Matters of Broadcasting, and then it all ties together in what I make to be my show page, and that is The Mob, Connecting Voices with What Matters Worldwide, which is a combination of what matters, and that's basically how we should live, you know, and get along with one another. And then the Matters of Broadcasting is, you know, for all the different broadcasters and stuff to get together. I've made several people there, you know, administrators to post it. You know, the way Facebook censors and stuff, it's almost ridiculous. It's everything's so throttled. It's almost like, you know, almost a waste of time in so many ways. But nevertheless, we do have Facebook, and I turn notices on for everybody, all my friends. So I mean, I don't have to worry about comes through the feed. It pops up right there on the left in like 105 minutes. But if I'm on and there, I can see it come up.
Right.
So I don't always necessarily click like or comment on everything, but I do see what most people are doing on there.
Yeah, I lose track of a lot of that stuff, to be honest with you. You know, people get mad at me, so you never like my stuff, and I'm like, well, probably because 500 people, you know, noticed afterwards, and I got caught up in something. I'm sorry, you know, but I try to stay connected. You know what else is really bizarre, but looks like it's going to be like it is a hell of an engine? It's the whole Google Plus thing, believe it or not. And I hate to even use anything Google. But, you know, because I have the YouTube channel, it's like they almost give me no choice. So, you know, but using that, it's weird because if you can get into some circles there, it seems like that just generates all kinds of interest. I mean, I had videos on my JFK channel that as soon as I joined a couple of like little circles on there, like all of a sudden viewership doubled, you know, on like stuff that I posted 4 years ago. You know, like that I don't even remember what it was now, you know what I mean? But all of a sudden it's like, I know I had 6,000 views on it, and now it's like, you know, I looked at it the other day, and I'm like, how did this thing go up to 30,000 views? You know what I mean?
Wow, that's hard to imagine. I've got like, I think, 1,200 views on one video I posted from a song about the Bundy Ranch a friend of mine had written, and he doesn't like it. He keeps wanting me to take it down. I took it down once and put it back up, and he sent me a message. I guess I should take it back down. He doesn't think it's very good quality, but, you know, it's just, you know, a fella singing and playing guitar, and I think it speaks a lot, you know.
Oh, did William Wagner get a hold of you, by the way?
Not lately. I set him up with Ammon Bundy.
Right.
I don't know if you ever got back in touch with Ammon. Did you ever get through on that number?
You know, I tried calling, and I got a message. I got to leave a message the one time. I felt a little strange about it, you know, like, but I mentioned you and, you know, mentioned what I wanted to do and all that. But a bunch of times I tried calling him, it was telling me that this person is not available, you know, and stuff like that, which was weird, you know, and I was wondering if there was a problem. Or, you know, if
What's
somehow...
up with William? Because I set him up, they were supposed to go out to Santa Barbara to the studio and do an interview there. I know everybody's busy and stuff, and it's sometimes hard to, you know, keep track of everybody. I know it is for me sometimes. And
Yeah.
So, but he never did. I talked to Carol Bundy, and she said that they thought that perhaps he did do the interview, but I've never heard yet, so...
Well, you know, I would definitely love to cover that, you know, with somebody, you know, from the family. That would be interesting. Again, I would just let them tell their story, by the way. You know, and I know some people object to that and whatever because of the Mormon angle and because of the, you know, blah, 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 whatever angle. But I don't care. It's significant. It's interesting. And if nothing else, I've got, you know, their perspective from somebody who's, you know, part of the family, for God's sake.
Right.
You know,
yeah, a lot of people get hung up on because, you know, everybody assumes that they have truth and only their truth is true, and so what everybody else that's different, you know, they're shills or trolls or, you know, whatever, and give no allowance, you know. And I think as a whole in this movement that we all are in, I think we're missing a whole lot. I know for myself, I had to do a lot of self-examination on my viewpoints, and no matter what I think I'm right about, I have to also allow for the fact that, I may not be right and another person is. So as long as we can come to agreement on basic terms of, what we're after, we're trying to change the evil in the world, and we're not going to do that by going around and calling, AJs out and so forth. You know what I'm saying?
No, I know. This is not the productive way to handle it, man.
Right.
You're not going to get anywhere with that. But it's like the people that are screaming at me. Oh, and I didn't even finish telling you about the emails. Let me get back to that real quick because that's kind of weird. So I posted just in my radio group, okay, which I'm you're a member there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I got the radio show discussion group, which, a lot of times doesn't get much discussion on my radio show, but there's some interesting stuff that goes on there, and I try to keep it focused. But the thing is, I posted in there, I said, Rudy Dent is going to be able to come on my show for 2 hours, and he'll be, I'm not going to restrict a single thing he says. And he said other places he was on, something along these lines, that he's going to get to speak his story his way, and I'm not going to censor him. He's been censored elsewhere. Okay. Now, I didn't...
Is that William J. Wagner you're talking about?
No, not at all.
Oh. Okay.
No, what I meant was that he had related to me that when he did the Alex Jones thing, that he felt like he couldn't say what he wanted to say. And when he had talked to somebody else, he felt like he couldn't say what he wanted to say. So I made it clear to him that whatever you want to say, man, like I told you, even if you want to come on here and say, well, I believe wholeheartedly that Osama bin Laden did it, we just got him, I would let you say that, even though I don't buy that for a second.
You can be a biggest idiot if you want to. That's just fine.
Yeah, no problem. Listen, if you want to come on here and be stupid, that's fine. And meanwhile, even if you are stupid, maybe you're still valuable as, somebody who just happens to be a witness, and therefore you could tell us about stuff, even though you think it was the guys with the box cutters. You could tell us about how Building 7 still shouldn't have fell, something like that. Excuse me.
Listen, if a person does not realize that 9/11 was an inside job, then they're just grossly misinformed or choose to remain ignorant. And if this hits you, not you, but whoever this may hit, I'm sorry, but you owe it to yourself, your family, and the future generations to take a closer look, because never, ever, ever have steel high-rise buildings collapsed due to fire. Any sort of fire. And for three of them to happen, all three, the only three in history to happen on the same day, and one was not hit by a plane.
Right.
And just to look at them, they fall at free. It defies any laws of physics. You don't have to take my word for it. There's plenty of professionals out there, engineers, architects, pilots, any number of professionals that will can very easily relate to you that had to be planted with explosives for the implosion to occur, and otherwise, they would never have fallen free fall speed like that.
Right.
If anybody can't see that, then it's just cognitive dissonance is all I can figure.
Right, and it's beyond, and it's just one of those things where, look, I just don't have the skills that I would require to help you, okay? That's all there is to it. But the thing is, I said that, right? And I said that on the radio, and I didn't think it was a big deal. I thought it was just a nice little tease to say, hey, you can listen to him on my show and hear something different, you know what I mean? Which is always true. When I bring somebody on my show, I almost always get a little something different out of them because I don't interview them like other people do. I have a conversation, like a relaxed sort of conversation with most people. That's what I do. So because of that, now, not a lot of people saw that. There's, 200 and some odd people in the radio show discussion group. Okay, fine. And not everybody looks at that group all the time. I know that. Jack Blood is in that group, but I know he very rarely looks at my stuff. You know what I mean? It's okay. But somebody took a screenshot of this, okay, and sent it to people that I know are connected with a certain large broadcaster. And how do I know that is because all of a sudden emails started coming in. I don't hardly ever give out my email address on the air. I'll give it out right now, though. It's CHUCK1972 at Lycos, LYCOS.com. hate mail, whatever, send it. But the thing is, even with that, okay, they sent that out, and I saw it as an attachment in some of these other emails where they're forwarding, and people are getting angry. And how dare I say that, that Alex Jones participates in censorship and all this? I never mentioned Alex Jones in the post. And it literally wasn't like just a couple of messages, Vince. All of a sudden, instead of getting like 15 messages and, 14 of them are garbage and one of them is from a friend of mine usually, all of a sudden now it's, 100 and some odd, 200 and some odd daily happened for like that,
wow.
for like 2 weeks straight of people angry at me for daring to say that Alex Jones is censoring 9/11 truthers, which is not what I said. Okay, so I thought that was hysterical. And then during that same week, I did the JFK Myths show, and that angered a whole lot of people because, look, I called out stuff that I know is just factually wrong, right?
Well, what about that picture of supposedly Bush there in Dallas? And by the way, I forgot to tell you, when I went through Dallas, man, I walked about halfway down to Dallas Plaza down there, and it was raining, and it's like, man, I ain't even going to get shots. And I turned around and went back to the bus station.
Well, I'm sorry about that.
I came back to it. It was dark. I hated that. I really wanted to go down there and shoot all that.
Well, because I would love any new pictures or video of it. Believe me, I ask people when they go down there to send me new ones so I can use it in my own artwork and stuff, and credit them. But nobody ever does it for me. But the thing is, that whole thing with Bush, it's not him. If you compare that very same figure who's dressed exactly the same way and you look at him from a different angle, you can clearly tell it's not him. That's all there is to it.
That's kind of what I was thinking personally. Just looking, it looks almost like him, but there's just enough difference there. I think I could make out that it really wasn't him.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I have a picture. I actually do have a picture. You can see your chat right now, right?
Yeah, I'll pop back over there. I'm actually in the Ochelli Effect radio show. I'm looking at the Ochelli Effect with Rebecca Raw.
Right.
We discussed 9/11.
And
right.
By the way, Daniel Lewis Crumpton has now joined in on the call, and thank you, Daniel, because I'm here all by myself. When
I was young, I never needed anyone.
No.
And making love was just for fun.
See, Daniel.
Those days are gone, Chuck. They're gone.
Hi, Daniel. DL.
I love
hey, our good friend Jason Patrick is up. He said, looks like he's headed up there to Oregon to the my mind blanked on the name of the mining claim up there, but it looks like he's headed that way.
Living alone, I think of all the friends that I've known, Chuck. And when I dial the telephone.
See, the real tragedy is I haven't been able to get anything to drink since, an hour and a half deep into my own show. So I'm like,
nobody's home, Chuck.
Get you something to drink, Chuck, and let me entertain DL.
Chuck's all by himself.
God.
He's doing Kim's show all by himself.
Wow.
What happened to that cat?
Either somebody
said that was frightening.
either somebody had sex with it or it fell in a toaster. One or the other. Look,
all by myself.
And I didn't mean to imply that you're chopped liver, Vince. I was just trying. I was going to correct and say, it is that Kim did not, meet her obligation today. That's
not to mention poor Dylan sitting back there in the wings, just quietly waiting a turn to talk.
He dropped off, actually. He dropped off.
Well, be that way, Dylan.
That's what I say. Well, screw you running backwards then.
Yeah, take off.
He's a good kid. I'm just kidding.
So I bought my first ebook ever, and by Daniel Lewis Crumpton, and Hearts and Horns and wait a minute, I said it wrong. Hearts and Arrows and Halos and Horns.
There is the comparison photo, a clear comparison. Okay, so I'm going to get something to drink, guys, and see if maybe Kim is in another room real quick. I'll be back in like 25 seconds, I think.
All righty. And anybody, the Sugar Creek, is it Sugar Creek Mining District? I believe it is. Jason Patrick's headed up there if he's not there already, and he'll be shooting live streaming on Bamboozer. So I'll let's see, where do I have that? I'll just do a search, and I'll find that and drop it in chat for anybody interested. That's how I met Daniel, is through Jason, and he said that I reminded him of you, Daniel.
I don't know if you should be afraid or get a diagnosis or what.
What did I miss?
You didn't miss nothing. We was talking about you. We hope you didn't anyway.
Not a problem. You know what? I'll tell you what. Whatever it is you said about me, it's probably true.
Actually, I was talking about Jason Patrick, and is it the Sugar Creek Mining District? Drew and Miner Dave was on Thursday and talked about that. But there's his channel, Jason Patrick at Bamboozer, if you guys want to check him out. He also live streamed from the one-year reunion at Bundy Ranch. I was on with Eva and Ian a week or so back, well on the, actually, it's just right before the anniversary of the standoff there, and I spoke about the Bundy Ranch. And I'd mentioned Pete Santilli was live streaming and didn't realize Jason was, but anyways, no matter what you think of folks, he was there streaming it, so there's that. That's all part of history, and my clips I put up on YouTube, that's the non-mainstream, and I don't guess I have an agenda.
Is it and is it a coincidence that the Oregon thing is happening 1 year after the Bundy Ranch thing?
Right.
Yeah, like just a few days after the anniversary, right? Yeah, okay. I don't know. Whenever I hear BLM, I think of bulimia. It just makes me want to vomit. It's just, I don't know.
It sounds to me like it's some sort of mutated bowel movement, because a BM is a bowel movement, right? So a BLM is probably some sort of, a bowel, I don't know, bowel ludicrous movement or bowel, I'm not sure what that middle word is, but it can't be a good thing if you see it on a medical chart. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The federal government is if they're not efficient at anything but creating just a bunch of abbreviations for departments we don't need.
Well, right, and we were talking about that on the tail end of my show tonight. Was pretty much the organized the organized crime syndicate basically that figures out one way or another to siphon and to leech off of every single activity in your life some little amount of money, so that they keep you busy trying to earn more money to keep paying them, to try to earn more money to keep paying them, and thus the hamster wheel spins.
It reminds me of if anybody who's not read these books, which if you haven't, shame on you because they're ingenious. Have you guys ever heard of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yes.
I almost thought he was going to plug his own books right there.
No.
And it's on YouTube audiobook too. If you if you've seen the movie, you can listen to the book on audio.
Yeah, there's a scene in the movie where they go to the Vogon home planet, where the whole society is structured where you have to fill out paperwork to fill out paperwork in order to fill out more paperwork, and you have to have it stamped and authorized. And I know Douglas Adams was kind of poking at the system because if you go and rent that movie, it was a few years old. It didn't do that great at the box office, unfortunately. But that scene just reminds me of our federal government and going down to the DMV or whatever to do menial tasks. Oh, you have to have it on the correct form, and you have to have this many forms of identification and whatever.
Right.
Hello, I'm back.
There's Dylan again.
There's Dylan.
A great companion to that movie, and you're going to think this is out of left field, but think about it for a moment, is Naked Lunch.
I've never heard of that.
You've never heard of Naked Lunch?
Google.
William S. Burroughs.
Nope,
what
never.
movie?
There you go. I dropped it in the chat. There's an audio book if anybody's interested.
For Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Oh, to the universe.
I actually don't love that movie, but I love the book.
No, the books are hilarious. They're the only books I've ever busted out laughing reading. They're hilarious.
I nearly choked as badly as I did last week reading that book.
Oh, you know what? You know what a weird piece of hate mail I got was too, along with that whole thing about how dare I say Alex Jones would censor people, which again I say
He
again I
would.
did not say, but I didn't say it. You know, at least look,
He
blame me,
would.
but blame me for what I did. You know what I'm saying? Don't make stuff up. All right. But the weirdest thing that happened there was somebody basically challenging me and demanding to know what my IQ was. Like
Mine
this
was 126 last I had it checked, but I'm pretty sure that some of that has leaked out by now.
leaked out or burned out. Either way, brother, it's all good. I'm sure
Yeah.
I've lost quite a few points over the years. But it was this weird thing about my IQ score. Like this weird convoluted argument about how I'm, being used by somebody to be a shill and I'm probably getting paid. And every time one of these people says something about how I'm getting paid to do stuff, I always, respond with the typical, well, where is my check? Because it's late, you know. But the thing was, it was this long convoluted thing where he's like demanding in 6 different spots in this weird sort of run-on paragraph to know what my IQ is. And I'm
What?
like,
Anybody who's, especially in the truth movement, ought to know that the whole IQ thing is a eugenicist concept anyway. I've never
Hey,
taken an
don't say that. You're
IQ
going to
test.
make me think less of myself.
They've, all throughout the public education system, they tried to get me to take an IQ test, and I refused. I'm not going to limit my ability to think by your stupid quota. You came up with that bullshit. Don't tell me, oh, well, this is what you're a 126 for. Well, I just tell people I have a 4-point IQ because I like the way it sounds.
well, you know what was funny to me is when I was in school, they had to evaluate me to figure out what it is I required as a visually impaired person because they were trying to assist me. So, it was there for that reason, right? Because, it's like, well, is he not learning something because of his vision or is he not learning something because of his inability to, deal with it intellectually, right? So they give me this IQ test when I'm like 9 years old the first time, and then there was this idea among the testers that somehow I had come up with a way to cheat because there's no way a visually impaired person could score that well, even though they had enlarged the test a little bit for me. Right? So they had to have somebody else come in and test it again. So I took 4 of these things in the 3rd grade.
Jesus.
And they all came up about the same, which was hysterical. But at one point, they sent people from Washington.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a weird story, but it kept coming up the same way anyway. And you know what? I wouldn't answer the guy, which pissed him off more, and he sent more emails. I just wouldn't give him the answer because I just thought it was funny that way. And he kept just doing the same thing, like another convoluted paragraph demanding to know what my IQ is. So
I like when people try to start the foundation of a debate where they want to, and you just don't give it to them.
yeah, that's exactly what it was.
They've already got like a strategy on how they're gonna take you to the intellectual floor and measure their intellectual phalluses with you, and you just won't start off where they want you to start off with. I used to be bad about it. Believe it or not, I used to be a very dogmatic fundamentalist. And I was really into confronting cults and converting people.
Right.
So I used to be very, very argumentative, and I taught debate when I was in school anyway. But I love it when you never debate the other person because you're never going to change their mind. I like when certain people try to debate me in private, and I just don't. I'm not going to do that. If there's no audience, there's no point.
Right.
It's not for the other person; it's for the audience to convert them. But typically, whenever they try to start off the debate, I just like to return their questions with a question and take it wherever I want to take it. It's the best way, really.
Yeah, it's a good analogy would be somebody decides that they are superior to you at chess. They set up the board in front of you and they say, no matter what move you make, I will defeat you. And you look at them and you go, okay, so I'm not playing.
Yeah, I'm not going to play.
That's what I think. I don't debate, I bait.
There you go. And occasionally, Matt, okay.
Yeah. On more than a occasion.
Yeah.
So do we need to put an APB out for Kim, man? What's up?
No, she's actually in the other room, passed out because of the pharmaceuticals they gave her for her injury to her ankle, I think.
I got
So.
you. Inagata DeVita's playing. I got you.
You got it, and that's what's happening. And I don't think she knows I'm home anyway. So I'll have to tell her about her show tomorrow.
All right, you guys want to joke? You guys want to joke?
Oh, listen, everybody has got. Daniel, you need to add, okay, like avant-garde comedian to your bio, because not only are you just, and I'm not kissing your ass or anything, man. I'm serious about this. This is a legitimate thing. I feel as though you are really a better comedian than you are a lot of other things that you do well. But you are like I would put it right next to writer, sir. You are a serious comedian, and I have to tip my hat, man, because I can make a funny one-liner or a funny observation occasionally, but I got to throw 10 of them out there before I get one. You hit multiple keys on that comedy piano. I mean, just seemingly quite effortlessly. So, I am in awe of this talent of yours.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I never thought that I was a comedian per se. I just see things in a funny way. I just don't look at the world in the same way. I don't believe anything's sacred. You know what I'm saying? There's no sacred cows, and when you kind of get rid of that mindset that, oh, we can't talk about that sort of thing, then everything is kind of funny.
Yep.
It is kind of funny and amusing, you know. And like I told you before, I said the best medicine that you could put in your body is laughter. And, you know, for a long time I lost that voice, you know, that comedic kind of humorous voice because of life and stuff. But finally I'm getting it back. You know, it's coming back where I'm like, yeah, life is pretty damn funny. You know, it's not so bad. It can be pretty funny.
Oh, by the way, for the Anon in the chat room, hey, I like me some French fried taters.
Was there a Sling Blade reference?
Yes, there was. I love that movie.
Yeah, no.
All right.
Billy Bob Thornton's a pretty good actor. One of my favorite movies of all time, next to Lonesome Dove, I think, is All the Pretty Horses. Excellent movie. He directed that.
Funny ha-ha, not funny queer.
Not funny ha-ha, but funny queer.
Nice.
He's just a boy.
Yeah, my friend Nikki just messaged me. She said it's not that I'm funny, it's just all the different voices in my head. Me and her had that conversation not too long ago. It's the truth. I just got a lot of characters in there, man.
Yeah, well,
Did they talk back?
Yeah, they do. And
no, talking back is fine, but when they get into protracted arguments with one another, there is your problem. Yes.
So I should seek mental help, is what you're saying?
No.
I think it's healthy.
Because I've got a couple voices in my head right now, and they're really angry at each other.
Well, actually, Dylan, we are all just voices in your head.
Oh God, help me! I've got a screwed up mind.
We are all Christian Science. We're all just manifestations of each other, looking at each other from different perspectives.
Nice.
It's true.
Oh man.
So, Daniel.
Yes.
I wish to turn over the floor to you, sir. I'm already smiling, so go ahead.
This is not my joke, so I'm not taking credit for it. I didn't write it or anything, but I thought it was pretty funny. Okay, so you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
In celebration of the oh-so-unexpected announcement of Hillary Rodham Clinton's presidential run, which none of us saw coming, I shall share a joke. All right, so it was this guy. He was on an airplane, and the unfortunate incident of him crashing out in the middle of the ocean occurred, and he found himself on a deserted island with a poodle and a small pig. All right, so he's out on this island. You know, after a while, he's kind of pretty much set on the fact that he's going to be stuck on this deserted island with this poodle and this pig for some time. So he makes the most of it, and he Tom Hanks it up, and sets up camp. Of course, after a while, every man's got that itch, you know what I'm saying? Get that little itch that only a lady can satisfy. So he's got a choice. And he's tired of, getting arthritis in his wrist there, so he takes a look at the poodle, and then he takes a look at that pig, and he figures, well, I guess the pig would be a little bit more willing, so he goes to grab that little pig, and that poodle starts going at his ankles. Man's like, son of a bitch, what the hell? He goes for the pig again, and of course the poodle. Man's a little frustrated, So the next night he waits, and he's got the campfire kind of going down. The embers are burning. He looks over, and that poodle's just a-sleeping, and the pig is just a-sleeping. He tiptoes over there, and he picks the pig up, going to do his business, and that damn poodle wakes right up. Son of a bitch. So this guy, he gets out there in his best Conan the Barbarian outfit, runs through the jungle, and kills himself a wild boar. Drags the wild boar back to camp and puts it on a spit and sets him up a barbecue. As soon as that thing gets tender and done, he throws some meat over there to the poodle to keep the poodle occupied. Picks that pig up and runs through the jungle. He's going to get his business with that pig. Here comes that poodle. So, after about a week or two of desperately trying to scratch that itch with the pig, he finally just kind of he gives up on it, and they're out there. They're sitting on the beach one day, and the sun is about noon, and the pig's on one side and the poodle's on the other side, and he's kind of exhausted and pretty much given up on the idea of him and the pig having some pig love. So he sees out over on the horizon something splashing about in the water, and he hears a woman's voice. Help, help, help me. Oh my God. He starts swimming out there, and the closer he gets, he sees it's a woman with a life preserver on, and she's kicking and screaming. He grabs her and takes her back to the beach and, makes sure she's okay, and it's Hillary Clinton. And she said, "Sir, you saved my life. I was going to drown. You saved my life. I'll do anything, and I mean anything you ask, anything at all." So the man looks at her and he says, "You think you could hold that poodle for about 15 minutes?
I thought he was going to say, "Go back in the water."
That's because she's a hideous monster beast.
Well, I thought the punchline might have been, "Can you just take this poodle for a walk for me?" But it works. It works. What the hell kind of airline is this guy on that, from the wreckage of the plane, though, a poodle himself and a pig survive?
It had to be pre-9/11. It had to be pre-9/11. That joke's for you.
Pre-9/11.
So Hillary Clinton.
Hopper says he's in the market for a pig. I'm not sure what he's going to do with that pig.
I don't wanna know.
Sorry, my ex-wife remarried.
Really? Congratulations.
Yeah, I was married 22 years ago yesterday, and I told this in chat earlier. On my way back from Vegas, I stopped in Flagstaff 22 years ago. Tomorrow is the first time I ever saw a colored headline on a newspaper, and it was USA Today, and it showed the Davidian compound on fire.
Mm.
I should have taken it as a sign.
Maybe so. I got a lot of jokes about the ex-wife, but I'll tell you what my favorite one is. When people ask me about divorce, I say, well, put it to you this way, man. Best 300 pounds I ever lost. Okay.
I am once again lost.
Dylan,
You'll get it in a few years, Dylan. Don't worry.
I hope not.
No. We're going to have an intervention right now.
Oh.
Dylan.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Dylan. Love a woman. Take care of a woman. But don't you ever get a marriage license. Trust us. So we're trying to bestow pearls of wisdom upon you so you make the same.
Chuck knows who the people I interact with are. You have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long it would take you to explain to them what.
talking apes on Mars who can talk on cell phones and drive cars. That's what goes on in my history class.
No, and Ted Cruz is an alien put in place by extraterrestrials to complete
Wage
the...
intergalactic war against Vladimir Putin.
Right.
Of course.
This is what goes on in his history class, guys.
And New England is Britain, Germany, and France that was annexed by the United States when the U.S. attacked Britain during the Revolutionary War.
These are the discussions that ensue in his history class. You guys haven't heard the segment I do on my show occasionally with Dylan's history class, have you?
I haven't heard it.
Is this public school?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. There you go. You know what they told me? Man, you know what they told me in kindergarten? I swear to God this happened. Okay? I'm not joking around. Whenever I was in kindergarten, I think, which is like, doesn't that smack of Nazi Germany? Kindergarten? You know, it's even German. But,
go to kindergarten.
We're going to the kindergarten. So
we will deal with you in the kindergarten.
Where you are walking single file line silently. You must raise your hand to go to the restroom. That was crazy to me. I have to perform a natural function. I got to ask you for permission.
You raised the wrong hand. No peeing for you.
Yeah.
My history teacher tried to tell me I couldn't go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I had a few of those, man.
He needed somebody to help him balance out the insanity.
Well, you know, his decision making may have gotten a bit cloudy, after he needed to consume that thermos full of booze to deal with, who he was teaching to, and I don't blame him. Okay.
Oh, Chuck, that whole discussion about New England, that whole debate raged on for a fourth day.
4 days of New England is some conglomeration of pieces of European nations.
Yep, and
Nice.
Eventually my history teacher just said, okay, you're right, whatever, let's move on.
He locked the topic and gave it to them.
Well, we didn't really win the Revolutionary War, contrary to what most people think. You know, we signed the peace treaty and pay reparations for.
That's the one thing they got right. They actually won the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, that was the one thing I said. Well, credit for that, and he's like, no, you don't understand.
No, it was an intelligent question that came from a stupid person.
Yeah, basically, they wanted to know if we had really won the Revolutionary War because obviously they couldn't look at the video footage.
Yeah, they asked for video. No, they actually asked for video footage of George Washington getting inaugurated.
Oh, I'm sorry, I mixed it up. Excuse me.
I saw a photograph of George Washington. Supposedly, I forget what the deal was, the exact of it, but it was somebody was posted some old picture of what was supposed to be George Washington. I think he was doing some Mason pose or something or whatever, and I was like, I wonder how many people actually believe this.
Well, there's a painting. Yeah, there's a painting to that effect, and there are people that somehow don't know the difference between a painting and a photograph.
Well, that may be me.
Are they in my history class?
Looks like a photo.
Yeah.
Are they in my history class?
You would know better than I.
I don't know. I don't know what they do in my history class sometimes. Somebody tried to ask if...
one thing they don't do is learn very much, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Whenever I was in kindergarten, right, it's kindergarten, they showed us a slideshow, okay? Or a film strip. Yeah, that's what those things used to be called, film strips.
Yes.
Remember that? Yeah, on projectors. Anyway.
Oh, I have one of those.
They showed us this propaganda piece about some character. I'd have to Google it to see if it's still out there. But it was something called the electric ant. And they literally told us that in order for us to have electricity, this ant flew to the moon to collect special moon rocks and brought them back to Earth, and that's what powered all of our electricity. And then they gave us like this glow-in-the-dark electric ant light switch cover, like that was supposed to remind you to turn your lights off, whenever you left or entered a room. And I remember, because my dad worked for the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, I remember the look on his face when I brought that crazy shit home with like a coloring book and, this electric. I said, Dad, we get electricity from the moon by an ant? And my dad was livid because he provided the power over our heads for a living. So in turn,
Sounds like.
it was bad.
Sorry.
My sister had to do an essay on one of our ancestors. So my dad, I think it was one of the same teachers that had told me the same bullcrap. He told her that we were direct descendants from John Wilkes Booth. And my sister wrote the essay. She got an A, I think.
It sounds like a theory my history class would come up with, honestly.
Man, I'm gonna have to show up at your history class.
Yeah, Carmine actually said that he and Chuck, that you and him were gonna come down to Jersey and come and sit in on my history class one day. See if you guys could slap sense into my class.
If he's willing to pay the freight to get my ass there, I would definitely go there so long as I can get permission to film it, because
I would. Hey, I have studio grade cameras at my school. I'd be getting one of those out.
Oh, great, wonderful. Sign it out for me, because I'll do it.
Yeah, I just need permission to put the microphones on you.
Yeah, I'll just get a generic release form and all that, and boom, done.
And we can have fun. There was a debate about whether purple came from rice, corn, or indigo. Somebody said no, all the colors come from rice. That's why you have brown rice and yellow rice.
Wow. Fluoride's working.
Yeah.
Fluoride's working.
Very well.
It's not the stupidest thing they said. Remember the whole Obama is a descendant of the Queen of Hawaii?
Well, there's that, and then of course the grand conspiracy theory that he is in fact engaged in a black genocide.
That they also support because they want to vote for him in 2016.
Right. And of course your classmates are black. So
yes.
that was rather curious as well.
Yeah, they wanted to vote for Obama in 2016, but are very confident that he's committing genocide against their race.
Right. It's awfully interesting.
Hey, I wanted to say hi to Jack Rocks. I'm over here in the super secret chat over here next to the other chat. I like had to separate some folks. There's little spats going on, but somebody, I don't know who this is, keeps saying that it's leaking the IP address. He said PI, but I'm not sure what's going on with that. The chat supposedly has somebody's IP address. I don't know if you guys know anything about that, but
I'm in the regular old chat room.
I'm in both.
Yeah, I don't even, and you know what? I don't even know how to get into the other one. I used to know. I just I forgot.
I didn't know there was another one.
Unless you're invited.
Oh, well, of course I'm not invited. You and Jules are the only people at UCY that like me, so there you go. Actually, no, wait. Let me take that back. Shali and Souvenir like me too. But other than that,
yeah. And me, I like you.
Oh, I said you and Jules as the first two people I said. And then I said
I love Jules. She is so awesome. I'm just so proud of all that she does. I can't say it enough.
No, absolutely.
And when people come in, and I just got to say it, when people come in screwing around, wanting to start fights and stuff, I've tried being peacekeeper today, but somebody came back. You know who you are.
Hey, call in,
most
douchebag.
People are being good, but I guess they got banned. I think they got flagged out. So just so you'll know, Gio, I don't think it's personal against you. I think somebody else flagged you out. But, if we could just be civil, if people don't like each other, don't speak to each other, ignore, and move on. So,
anyway. Man,
I made that comment. Speaking of Kindergarten. Jawohl.
Okay. Jawohl.
I made that comment earlier. Man, I wish some of those people who do that mess in the chat rooms would call in. You know, jeez.
They
Go
do
ahead.
when Kim's on the mic. They like her. That's the thing. She's just anyway.
You were going to say ditzy, wasn't you?
No, not at all. It's just she just does whatever, and everybody's like, "Oh, good, it's Kim." You know, thank God Chuck is done
And you put
here.
and
Here
you put together an actual presentation, and you either get hate mail or silent praise.
yeah, and here comes a phone call, guys, and you're on the air.
What's up, brother? It's Renegade. Calling back in.
Oh, hey, Renegade. You, Daniel, you know Renegade Smith?
I heard him on your last show there.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, now
Hey,
I got to put him on the
Renegade.
spot. Dancing
Anybody-
Israelis, your opinion now. Hey, Jag.
What are you guys talking about? You guys fill me in.
No, it doesn't.
Dancing Israelis.
No.
I've come to put you on the spot.
That's not what we're talking about. But you see, every one of my shows, because there's this thing that I won't talk about the dancing Israelis on 9/11.
Oh, jeez.
Therefore, ask your guests about the dancing Israelis. You won't do it, Chuck, because you're Ochelliberg. You're a Jew. This is what they do. I kid you not. Okay.
So, yeah.
So
we had dancing Israelis in the streets. Yeah.
So Renegade Smith, now just to prove the point, what is your opinion about the dancing Israelis that were detained on 9/11, sir?
Well, I heard they sucked as dancers to begin with. They were just kind of like hopping for joy. And when you're watching people die, no matter what country you're in, and you're clapping your hands, unless it's like, the owners of the Federal Reserve, the oligarchs, the English crown, unless it's them people actually getting hung for the crimes against humanity, if you're dancing a jig in the freaking street, applauding for death and murder, I have a problem with you. And honestly, I like to punch a hole through your head. That's my fault on that.
Yep.
How are you going to dance when there's innocent people dying? You are a sick, twisted person, and actually get the hell get out of our country.
Oh.
You don't deserve to be here.
Yep. No, and they did, and of course, the whole reason why you're being asked the question is so that you can say that Israel was absolutely responsible for 9/11.
Mossad, thank you.
That's
Mossad,
what
yeah.
you're supposed to say, and if you don't say it, then they'll put Berg on the end of your name if you don't immediately say that that's the absolute answer to the whole puzzle. So
I have
then you
a
have-
message for all the people who just add Berg to the end of the name. Berg does not mean Jewish. There are many other names. Be creative, please.
yeah, well, that would be nice, but they start calling me Ochelliberg over that. So
Well, who do we have on the call? Who do we have on the call here?
all right, on the call right now is Vince Easley,
Okay. Nice.
Daniel Lewis Crumpton.
I'm like this guy,
Yes, interesting guy. Have you ever heard of Daniel Lewis Crumpton before, Renegade?
No.
All right, look him up. He's an author, zeninthecar.com. He's hysterically funny. Did you ever see those posts from the Jaded show that were up on my radio stuff about cooking with internet whores and how to dispose of a body?
No.
The assassination.
It sounds very comical, though.
The assassination of Ron Paul. You ought to take a look at all these because
I think I will.
There's Daniel
It's
being
hilarious. I nearly choked after watching all 4 of them.
right, but also a talented writer, activist, and just all around interesting guy, spiritual man, all kinds of things like that. I love this guy.
I love the title too because I was actually I didn't know it at the time, but Facebook, fascist book, Face Crook, whatever you want to call them, they do this thing where you have to publish your material, and I didn't know this, and my pages were getting no activity. I'm like, this is really freaking weird. I'm like, so I thought my Renegade Smith page got shut down, so I started Renegade cooking with Renegade Smith because I love cooking. So to hear that title, that cooking thing you just mentioned that Daniel did, I think that's pretty cool.
Well, to join what it was that he did, do you have Skype at all, Renegade?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You ever get a random message on there that's like, "Hi, sweetie, how you doing? I found your name on the Skype directory."
No, I get that on Facebook all the time.
Right, you get those.
I get it on Skype every day.
And they usually get deleted because they're spam, right? But on Skype, if you accept the contact request and all that, then they basically try and talk you into, come and see my sex webcam shows.
Exactly, right.
Okay.
You come see my sexy pictures.
Well, Daniel turned around and played this whole thing about, went back and forth with this chick about, are you going to do a cooking show? And
nice.
you got to
hear.
You got to hear and read the whole thing. It's hysterical. And he titled it "Cooking with Internet Whores" because he was asking how to cook an omelet. And there's a picture of a freaking omelet on Facebook, along with the link. And it's just, I bow to this kind of humor.
I had someone I was actually friends with. I forget what country she was from, but next thing I know, she's asking if I can help her. I'm like, yeah, sure. What's your problem here? And she starts going on about her family being, her mother's in this hospital and blah, blah, blah. I said, well, show me proof. You're asking me for money. Well, show me proof. So, it's like you don't even know what to freaking believe, what to trust. Then you get these messages, the internet whores. And I had this girl, she sends me something. She's like, hey, can you help me out? I'm like, yeah, sure. Can you go to my website or go to this website and vote on my picture? I'm like, well, what is it? She's like, well, it's this and that. I said, well, are you decent? She goes, no. I'm like, I want no parts of this then. Put some clothes on, you freaking whore.
Yeah,
have some morals, some values. Have some coup.
I just wanted to tell Dal who all was on here. It's Renegade Smith, Daniel Lewis Crumpton, Chuck Ochelli, Dylan Wade, and myself, the Effect.
The Effect.
I think I'm the one who started the Ochelliberg, Chuck. Now it's Ochellistein in chat, and I'm Vince Goldberg.
Oh, nice.
And I
put the bird on the end.
Super secret chat for spamming. So I can't even type in there LOL 2 times in a row. So I got booted out of the chat over there.
The secret chat boots you for that?
I don't know.
Hey.
They said I was spamming. The thing did. So.
Okay.
Hey, Chuck, I one thing I wanted to cover earlier, which I didn't get a chance to do, is the collaborations I have coming up. I will be doing a song with PTP, also at Destiny Lab. Beretta Vendetta, freaking Michael. That guy is an amazing musician. His guitar playing is phenomenal, and he piqued my interest right away. I've welcomed him into one of my songs. I want him to actually do a solo on it, and he's going to be taking the course on this one song. Also, I have Lady Maverick stepping into one of my songs. Matrix I will be getting together with him to do a song, and also Eric Vigilant. Not many people have heard of him, but he has got some amazing stuff that he's done. He just sent me 2 songs where the one was about the police state. It's all audio clips over a beat, and the other one was about fluoride and vaccines. Fluoride and vaccines. Just amazing stuff. And I told him, get a hold of me. I want to collaborate with you. Let's do this thing. So, 2015, from what I'm understanding from the musicians, these independent artists that I'm hooked up with, we're going to have a lot of great music coming out. Alaska Clay has put some new stuff out. I just met up with PTP down at the Free Your Mind conference. He loaded me up with CDs. I've been handing them out like freaking candy, in a parade. And the people I've handed them to are like, dude, I can't turn this off. Like, this freaking music is insane. I love the message. I love what he's talking about. And I love helping out my brothers and sisters. And I cannot wait to just sit back and glory and listen to the music that's going to be delivered in 2015, because I know there's a lot of projects going on.
And
I'm going to be working with some great people.
Right. And despite the offers that people made to help me out with creating an original theme for my show, because I can
do that for you.
Well, what's funny is that I would gladly love to hear something, and if you gave it to me for exclusive use, I'd be more than happy to and mention it all the time and all that. But to tell you the truth, it's funny. There's been a couple of people that offered them to me and never delivered them. So
give me some time. I'm going to hand you something someday. You're going to go, okay. I just sent you a whole bunch of stuff over Facebook. So, feel free to download my songs, have them for your own personal lease, and bang them hard. Put them in your car when you're cruising. Put them in your home. Wake up your neighbors.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that real quick and I closed it up before I went to air. So, but I'm definitely going to be checking that out. I've checked out some of your stuff before, but I think only the stuff that was like on YouTube and all that. So,
Yeah, YouTube is not.
Smith. And the only person that has more names than I do, I think, is AJ here.
Well, but
he
his
has like 50 different names, I think.
But his page is getting shut down.
Yes, I have been shut down. This woman, I got in a huge argument with her, and I was pulling out constitutional law and everything else in this woman, and my right to be secure in my person. I said, if I'm telling you my name is R.S. Freedom, that's my freaking name. How dare you question me on that? I said, I'm not out here. I'm not vindictive. I'm not out here trying to start riots or, do anything against Facebook. I said, I am being who I am. I said, now, there's a lot of people that know me personally that know who I am. I'm like, how dare you tell me to send me my ID? So what did I do? I went back. I resorted back to our days of our youth where you show me yours, I'll show you mine. I said, I'll gladly send you my ID. You send me yours. I think her name was Monica or something like that. Well, she didn't like that too much.
So
what I did was
anonymity on Facebook because, like a woman, for instance, there's a lot of freaks out there might, stalk somebody. So it's what I did just to prove a point. I created a anonymous Facebook. It was Roger T. Hat, but they made me take the T out to prove that I was a real person. So now I'm Roger Hat.
Geez.
What I did, I created one email, coveryourass.com, I think, or something like that. Dot mail or whatever it is.
Oh, that was you.
Anyway,
okay.
You can find one like that. Create one and go create you whatever, Hotmail or Gmail or Yahoo or whatever, a second account to confirm your first one when you create a Facebook account. So you can slip in there on them and make up a name. But they sometimes they'll catch you, I guess. But some people want to not be known, and I think that's right. So
that was my point.
Let me say real quickly. Go create an account at worldtruth.org. There's no censor there.
Thank you.
You can be whoever you want to be.
And I know Anthony Jordan. He was the original creator of it. I've actually had him on air with Austin Aliso on Guerrilla Radio and Truth Emerges Network. I've actually spoken with Anthony Jordan on the phone. He's a great guy. He's fed up with everything going on. That's why he created this alternative to Facebook called worldtruth.org. It's great. You can use any name you want and expose what you want. Nothing will get freaking taken down. You're not going to be questioned. You're not going to have to send them a picture of your freaking ID. You know what I did? You know what I sent that woman when she's saying, well, we still need your ID to reactivate this account? I took a picture of me giving him the finger. And I go, here's my ID.
And with the last...
taking over World Truth.
With the last...
With Bimner and Cowboy Tech and a couple other people are doing some works over there. It's a really great site, and I think everybody should have an account over there. Keep your Facebook account, by all means. Use it for a resource, but go to worldtruth.org.
With the last... Hold on. With the last 2 or 3 minutes here, I think it's about down to 2 minutes of the show.
Dang it, I should have called in earlier.
Say hello, Kim.
Hi.
There. See, I didn't kill her already.
Good morning. Good morning.
There she is.
Good morning.
I tripped over my retarded dog and I hurt myself.
At least it wasn't the pig.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, you missed the pig thing. It's okay.
Oink, oink.
No, you'll hear the pig thing later.
I want to say this real quick before we go off air. People, if you have something that you have to offer the public, please do not depend on Facebook. Get outside, take it to the freaking streets. You can go to Staples or Office Depot, make up flyers for what your cause is. Go and put them on windshields. Hand them out. Shake some freaking hands. Become personal with people. Because when they see that, they know you're real, and they know your cause is freaking real. Stop depending on Facebook. Because you know what? You're being censored anyway, and they have their algorithms, so they'll just dumb your shit down. No one will see what you have to offer.
Right. And
don't depend on it.
Right. And notice that was one of the things that came up when I was talking to you, is we used to talk about actually handing out things physically and all that. But listen, we're just about done. So, Kim, you want to sign out your show here? Say something.
Well, there's like a minute
Yeah,
left.
I know. Well, you want to say good night? Everybody have a good night.
Yeah. Good night, good morning.
It's okay. Anyway, thanks for listening to Jaded on UCY.tv and all that kind of good stuff. I mean, say something, hon. It's your show.
Well, you
Fight
didn't,
for freedom.
you didn't wake me up.
Because I had to go right from my show to your show, and I was waiting for you to come in. You never came in. What am I supposed to do?
You should tell my peeps they have to wait a minit.
Tell your people. So dead air and go get you. However long
Well,
that's.
what constitutes a minute?
It all depends on who you're with, actually.
Can be.
Give me a second. An hour later, I'll call you back.
I don't know much about being a Minuteman, so.
Is my buddy Daniel here?
What?
Yes,
Daniel's on the
I
line.
can.
Hi, Daniel.
In a
Hi,
God
Tim.
of
Follow please,
division.
y'all. I'll hang up. Thanks, Chuck.
right.
Thanks, Renegade. Daniel, Dylan, and Kim, we missed you tonight. Your listenership dropped off because I had to listen to me and Chuck for an hour.
Oh, no.
Me all by myself for a half hour going, I have nothing to say.
Right. Talking to myself at the bed.
Well, I passed it anyway, so, you know.
Yeah, the stupid dog, she got tangled up all into my feet trying to get outside.
And you severely sprained your ankle. I
I
explained
was
that.
like,
I think
what
you
the
actually might have
hell?
it cracked, too.
I
It's
think I might have to kill that animal.
Hey, you know what? I had made a joke one time. I kind of know how people took it. I said, I'm going to get drunk tonight and go kick the neighbor's dog. It's got in my way.
Well, we kind of wish that we were your neighbor right about now.
Well,
Right.
hopefully next week I'll be better. I apologize. Normally I don't abandon my show. I'm sorry.
It's all good. You know, things happen, and hey, at least it happened, right? We had Chuck and we had some other people on here. Hey, it's rocking. It's all that matters.
It worked out in the end.
Yeah, that's right. Everyone's got each other's back here. It's called the coalition.
There you go.
I'm not part of the coalition.
You know, technically, you're not an admin on there, are you?
No, I am not. I've been abandoned.
I guess I can add you. I don't know if I'm
Oh,
allowed
gee,
to.
I guess you could.
I don't know if I'm allowed to. I'm not sure if I have
Wow.
those privileges.
Well, we're not gonna add your dog, okay? Your dog will not be in for you.
There we go. Show ended tonight. How can I?
God bless. Fight for freedom.